Hello, my name is Brian Wahl. I'm an urban forester with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and today we're going to talk a little bit about condition class. Condition class allows us to assess individual trees to see how they're doing. When taken together, it can help you assess how your entire forest is doing, whether that's on your campus or within your city. Condition class also allows us to make some management decisions. Perhaps all of our maples have a low condition class. What could that be telling us about what's going on? Or maybe it's all our trees around the baseball diamond. Maybe it's something to do with the fertilizer or how the trees are mowed around. Or maybe it's showing us that our trees are doing really well, and that can help us decide to continue to do some practices that are being done or improve upon them. One thing to note about condition class is it's very subjective, and you'll find that some kids in your class may find a tree in good condition, and other kids will say, nope, that's in fair condition. It's a really good idea to have an open mind and maybe work off of a class average, especially when you're beginning. Professionals debate about tree condition class all the time. In addition, one thing to note is even when a tree has a fair or poor condition class, these trees all still have value within our urban canopies. They're all still providing services, and even dead trees can be providing homes for wildlife. Today I'm going to walk you through how I do a condition class rating on a tree. And later on we'll define some of those terms that I use a little bit more in depth. So the first thing I like to do when I look at a tree is look at the root flare. How is that trunk connected to the landscape? The main thing is we want to make sure these trees aren't planted too deep, or they don't have rot or girdling roots. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the trunk. Are there any splits, cracks, missing bark, even fungus growing on the trunks? These can be signs that there are other issues going on. The next thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to take a look at the crown. How are those branches structured? Are they well spaced? Are there pruning wounds? Are they sealing up well? Are there codominant leads? These are all things that indicate how well these trees are going to be doing during storms or in the environment. And finally, or you can do this first, is as you're approaching a tree, take in the tree as a whole. You know, how is that canopy doing? Are there areas where there's some severe dieback, dead branches? Are there gaps in the canopy? Is the crown sort of ill-formed and not what we would expect for the species? Is the color off? So these are all things that you can take into account to make your assessment of a tree. And remember, make sure you're walking all the way around the tree. A lot of times, one side of the tree will look excellent and you'll be like, yes, this is the best tree I've ever seen. And then as you go around the other side, you may find a hollow or lawnmower damage that will knock this tree from the condition class you thought it was in down at least one or two rungs. As mentioned before, all of our trees in the urban environment have value. But what we will find out, especially as we're new at this, most of our trees will fall into the good or fair category. When I do trees, most of my trees are in the fair and poor category, but I'm a little critical. There are going to be very few trees in the excellent and a handful in the poor, and hopefully very few dead. That being said, why don't we go take a closer look at some of these things.